This woman awoke from a 26-year coma, and what she said shocked everyone. Marissa, a cheerful 8-year-old girl from Brazil, was full of life and energy. Her greatest passion was roller skating, and she spent countless hours gliding through the streets of her small town. Her sparkling brown eyes lit up with joy as she and her friends attempted daring tricks. On a sunny afternoon, Marissa decided to challenge fate. In a bustling square surrounded by laughing children and passers-by, she prepared to attempt an especially difficult pirouette on her skates. But a small stone on the asphalt disrupted her balance. Marissa fell hard. The impact was so severe that she lay unconscious. Onlookers rushed to her aid, her parents were alerted, and soon the square was filled with worried voices. Her mother, overcome with panic, cradled her in her arms as the ambulance arrived. The driver reassured her that Marissa would be in good hands at the hospital. Yet no one could have predicted the devastating consequences of the fall. Doctors diagnosed Marissa with a severe head injury, and after hours of desperate efforts in the operating room, she slipped into a deep coma. The first few days were filled with hope. Her parents believed Marissa would wake up soon, but as the weeks passed, reality began to set in. The doctors explained that her chances of waking were slim. They tried to prepare her parents for the worst, but Marissa's mother refused to give up hope. "My daughter will come back," she repeated tirelessly as she sat by Marissa's hospital bed, holding her hand. What no one knew was that Marissa could hear and feel everything. She was trapped inside her own body, like a ghost observing the world without being able to participate. The days following Marissa's accident passed excruciatingly slowly. Her parents, Valeria and Fernando, spent every waking moment at her bedside. At first they hoped for rapid progress, but weeks turned into months, and Marissa showed no outward signs of waking. The doctors calmly explained that while her condition was stable, the likelihood of her ever regaining consciousness was vanishingly small. Valeria, however, refused to be discouraged. Every day, she read stories to her daughter, played her favorite songs, and shared small joys from their daily lives. What Valeria didn't know was that Marissa could hear every word. Trapped in her own body, Marissa could only passively experience the world around her. She heard the doctor's discussions, her mother's quiet tears, and her father's silent prayers. But she had no way to communicate her own suffering. It felt as though she lived in an invisible cage, unable to move or speak. The silence was suffocating, but the familiar voices of her family were her lifeline. Her mother's warm voice, in particular, gave her solace and a faint hope that one day she might rejoin the world around her. Years went by and life moved on, at least for everyone else. Marissa's younger brother, Pedro, was born, and as Valeria and Fernando worked to provide him with a normal childhood, Marissa's condition loomed like a shadow over the family. Pedro grew up knowing his sister only as the girl who always lay silently in bed. Yet even Pedro often spoke to her, telling her about school and his friends, as if she could understand every word. In those moments, Marissa felt alive, even though she couldn't show it. Despite everything, the family slowly began to accept that Marissa might never wake up. Fernando returned to his work and Valeria tried to balance caregiving with maintaining her own life. Yet, they never stopped hoping for a miracle. Deep inside, Marissa knew her family had not given up on her. What no one could have imagined was that this seemingly endless silence would one day be broken by a voice. And that voice would shock the entire world. It was a morning like any other. The sun streamed through the curtains as Valeria sat by Marissa's bedside, holding her hand and reading to her from a book. After 26 years, this routine had become an integral part of her life. Pedro, now a grown man, entered the room with a cup of coffee for his mother when something extraordinary happened. Marissa's fingers moved slightly, almost imperceptibly, but to Valeria, it felt like a bolt of lightning. "Marissa?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Pedro set the coffee down and rushed over. Both stared in disbelief as Marissa slowly opened her eyes. An overwhelming wave of emotion filled the room. Valeria burst into tears, and Pedro clasped his sister's hand, gazing into the eyes they hadn't seen alive in so many years. But what began as a quiet reunion turned into a moment of shock when Marissa spoke, her voice faint but clear. "I heard everything." The words echoed in the silence, and Valeria held her breath. "Everything?" she asked hesitantly. Marissa nodded weakly and repeated, "Every word, every tear, every moment. I was never really gone." Marissa's revelation unveiled a reality that Valeria and Pedro could barely comprehend. She recounted conversations between doctors, the stories her mother had read to her, and even moments when the family believed they were alone. "I heard you, Mama, when you said you'd never give up on me. And Papa, I heard you crying softly at night." Valeria was both moved and shaken. "How was this possible?" Pedro asked quietly. Marissa described feeling as though she were trapped in a glass cage, always present, yet unable to make herself known. The news of Marissa's awakening and her first words spread rapidly. Doctors, journalists, and family friends flocked to learn more about this miracle. But Valeria was focused on ensuring Marissa felt safe and gradually reconnected with the world. Though the family was overjoyed by her return, they could sense that Marissa carried an immense emotional burden. The revelation that she had perceived everything brought both blessing and challenge, a truth that held grief and hope in equal measure. Life after 26 years in a coma felt like waking up in a completely new world for Marissa. Every movement, every step was like learning to walk all over again. Her muscles were weak, her voice soft, but her determination was unwavering. The support of her family was an indispensable pillar of strength. Pedro helped her with her first attempts at walking, while Valeria guided her through daily exercises to regain her motor skills. At the same time, Marissa had to adapt to the rapid technological advancements and a drastically changed world. Smartphones, social media, and self-driving cars felt like something out of a science fiction movie to her. The greatest challenge for Marissa was emotionally processing the past 26 years. The memories of everything she had heard and experienced weighed heavily on her. During difficult conversations, she asked her family questions like, "Why did you doubt sometimes?" Yet despite these moments, the bond between them grew stronger, and Marissa came to understand the immense love and strength her family had shown. News of Marissa's awakening spread worldwide. Media outlets reported on her incredible story, and experts debated what her case revealed about human consciousness during a coma. Messages of support and admiration poured in from all over the world. For Marissa, however, the greatest achievement wasn't fame. It was returning to a simple, authentic life. Over time, she learned not only to make peace with the past, but also to embrace the present, cherishing small moments with the family that had never given up on her. Marissa's story is a testament to the incredible power of the human will and the deep bonds of a family that refuse to lose hope. Her journey from a coma back to life is an inspiration to us all. If this story touched your heart, leave a comment, give us a like, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.